Happy St. Patrick's Day, my friends. We have made it to the day we celebrate. I hope you're wearing green. I hope you're eating green food. I hope you're celebrating. But I hope you've enjoyed learning about a real man who loved God so much and whose parents prayed for him, just like your parents pray for you, and how God showed him step by step the way to go and share Jesus. All right, he went to a whole country that wasn't his, where he'd been a slave before. And now he went back to share Jesus with them. All right, let's read this last chapter together. Patrick spent the rest of his life living his dream. Do you remember those dreams that all came true? Yeah. Telling anyone and everyone about Christ and his message of peace and forgiveness. Yes, for Patrick the dreamer, all of his dreams came true. Not all would listen and believe. Some chose to give hatred a home in their hearts. When this happened, Patrick would forgive them. Those who chose violence, not peace, for truly he had the power of the Father above, Christ at his side, and the Spirit in his heart. That's really easy to read and really hard to do, isn't it, guys? When there's people in our lives who don't choose Jesus, so their hearts are not pure, and their hearts are not kind, and their hearts are not loving. So it's hard to always forgive, but Patrick set an example for us here. This is good. The Father above, Christ at our side, and the Spirit in our hearts, three persons in one, one in three. When the Irish asked, "How can that be?" Patrick showed him the shamrock, the three-leaved clover. "See," he said, "the clover has three leaves, but it is one." This is the mystery of the Holy Trinity. Three in one, one in three. And that is why people wear shamrocks on St. Patrick's Day. After a full life, Patrick died with Benin at his side. Remember we talked about Benin, right? The little guy, he grew up, he walked with him. Benin at his side, who was then a priest. He'd become a priest. Later a bishop, and he carried on the work that Patrick had begun. So Benin was there. He walked with him. It's so great for older people to have a mentor that grows up and just takes his place like that. Isn't that awesome? He raised Benin. Benin was one of the first Irish priests, and he continued on for years, and he did so much through music too. Do you remember the little guy who played the harp? He would sing the Psalms. It was such a beautiful thing. I thought we would look at our action words because we're hitting right around Easter time when we're doing this study, if you're watching it on the days we're posting them. But did Patrick praise? All the time, right? He was always praising God, thanking God for each and every step that God took him on. Did he serve? Oh my goodness, yes. He left his country after escaping Ireland and getting back to England finally. He turned around and went and served and loved the people of Ireland. Does Patrick pray? Yes. I said, I wonder how many times it says Patrick prayed in just this tiny little book, all right? Patrick prayed and talked to God. Do you remember when he was a shepherd? He was out in the fields. And he didn't have anyone to talk to. And that's when he really turned to God and said, I need a Savior. And God was right there for him and shared Jesus with him right then. All right. Think about how you can serve others. All right. Think about how you can pray just like he did. Think about being alone. Sometimes, we're not always alone a lot. Think about going, when I was little, I think I've told you guys, I would sit on a rock and that's where I would talk to God. And then when I got a little older, I had an apple tree, a big branch and an apple tree, and that's where I would sit and talk to God. And then when I got a little bit older, I had this hammock that was beautiful and it would go out over the hillside and look down on a river. And that was my place where I would just talk to God. Even before I knew what I was praying, when I was on that rock as a little girl, I just took that time alone to pray. So Patrick had that time out when he was a shepherd. And he did that. Did he sacrifice? Yes. He sacrificed by leaving his country, leaving his parents, leaving his family, and going to another country, right? And did he share hope? Yes. He shared hope with a whole nation. And I just love that he went to the king and shared Christ with the king. And the king said, yes, Patrick has my permission, my consent, my wishes to go out and tell all my people about Christ. So there's big hope in our message, guys. There's big hope knowing Jesus. There's hope for our world because of kids like you who are growing up and loving God and loving Jesus. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this story. If you want to know more, there's tons and tons of books. You could go online. You could find books at the library. Mom and Dad could read books to you. But it's a great story of a missionary, and I hope you enjoyed it. I've loved sharing it with you. Now go have a great St. Patrick's Day. I love you guys. See ya.